right, let's try this.
You could argue that one of the most important parts of cooking and how we experience food is flavor. So what is flavor? Flavor really is the overall experience you have in your senses as you eat a piece of food. Taste, which we often sort of casually mix up with flavor, is really just a part of flavor. Aroma is another part of flavor and is much more complex than taste. It is due to the small molecules that go into the air. They're small molecules that are volatile, and they go into the retronasal passages, and they create the much more sort of nuanced flavors that we know of in food. So if you say that something is lemony or meaty or woody in taste, that is usually due to the aroma molecules. Another important thing is actually touch. So the very, very hot flavor that you get from a hot pepper is due to a small molecule called capsaicin. And capsaicin is actually not necessarily interacting with your taste buds or the aroma, it is interacting with your touch receptors, and that is actually what's giving it that hot flavor. How do we experience taste? Taste is the input that your taste buds get from the molecules in the food, but this really comes from the taste buds that are on your tongue. Your sense of taste is going to differ. Taste is really a quite subjective experience, and it's hard to quantify exactly. For example, the different molecules that cause sweet or bitter are actually detected at very different levels. So bitter compounds, it turns out, are detected at a very, very low threshold, whereas sweet, you can actually have much more sweet substances, and you are not detecting it quite as easily. So if you go to a mirror and you stick out your tongue, you'll see that your tongue actually does not have a uniform surface. There are all these little bumps on your tongue. And you may have more or less bumps depending on who you are. It's individual. And it turns out that all of those bumps, and there are different types of bumps, but all of them, or most of them, have within them taste buds. And each of the taste buds have within them taste receptors. So when a food lands on your tongue, the molecules in the food go into the little bumps on your tongue and into the taste buds, and they interact with the receptors. When you experience a food as salty, that is really due to the membrane channels, and the potassium and the sodium in the salt goes through those channels, and as that happens, that triggers a response in the cell that is then sent on via the nerve channel onto the brain, and the brain tells you that was salty. As you'll see later, a lot of sour foods are really acids. Acids, the way they work is they lose a hydrogen ion. And those hydrogen ions can also interact with membrane channels. Sweet, bitter, and umami, they all have very specific receptors. So the taste molecules are small molecules, and they're usually soluble. They're soluble in water or in fat, and so because of that, they stay on your tongue, and they interact with your taste buds, and they send on the signal to your brain that this is sour, or this is sweet, or this is salty.
It's like beans, fresh beans, olive oil, all the flavors we can make around.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thanks.